I was diagnosed with it in 2007. I know how to deal with it. I continued to deploy with it for 6 years. I deployed with it. I went through Benghazi with it. I deployed with it after. I've had it. I've had it. I have it. Post-traumatic stress. It doesn't keep you. If you enjoy what you're doing and you can compartmentalize the incidents and you can rationalize. Believe me, I think about them all the time. I do these speaking events where I have to relive a particular event where it draws and it drains me, but you know what? Going back overseas is where you feel normal. And that's where I'm sure he still wanted to go overseas, because you go overseas and you work, the post-traumatic stress isn't there because you're back in an element where your adrenaline's always up here. Where in the United States, it's right in the middle. And we don't like to live like that. I'm sure he's the same way. If I met him, he'd tell me the same thing. I'm either all the way up here or I'm sleeping and I'm all the way down here. There's no middle. And I'm sure because of his passport, because of what he did, he went over there to be normal, to feel like he did when he was in Vietnam. And I get that, because that's why I continue to deploy for 7 more years. And I would still be deploying to this date if I hadn't got my clearance pulled, because we told the truth. Didn't do anything classified, but CIA said, you'll never work for us again because you wrote the book and because you did the movie. You'll never work for us again. I saw the video where you got a guy that said, sometimes I thought, Richard, if he's home, I don't know who he was, but he said, if Richard's homeless, it's because he chose to be homeless. I think some of the veterans, and that's not all of them, I think some of them do choose, not because of anything else that they don't want to hand out. It's hard for them it's hard for them to go get a desk job. It's hard to be told what to do after you've been telling guys what to do, and after you've been in, the first Rambo movie, I know I'm going back, but been in charge of multi-million-dollar equipment. You know how to use every sort of piece of equipment out there. You know tactically how to radios. You know, and your skill set is up here, and you have to take a job down here. And you have some guy that went through college or hasn't experienced life like you have, and or lady or guy or girl they're in charge of you. It's hard to not feel like you're being underutilized. So I think a lot of those guys have a hard time getting into work, because, or they get into work and like, I can't do this. And I understand that. I had to quit insurance adjusting because I had my insurance adjusting company. After Yemen, I came back because I did it for a little longer, because I was on the phone helping people trying to work through the insurance stuff, and I would get angry because I wanted to tell them, I'm sorry your living room flooded. But I'm thinking in my head, I just watched Ty and Glenn get blown up, and these people are panicking because their living room got flooded. It's hard to disassociate. I'm sure he had the same things, and that's why he probably continued to work in some capacity. And going back around full circle, I think the answers you probably want are within the State Department. Those guys were crapped on, yeah. And so I feel a little bit what they went through, just a tad, because we're still accepted by the majority of people within the U.S., but they were left behind, literally there, and they were left behind by their own. So whenever I talk, I always, you always should tell a Vietnam veteran, welcome home, because they were never told that. And I have respect. When I was up on that wall fighting, I'll be honest, I thought about Vietnam veterans going, man, I can get through this. These guys went through a lot more than I have, and they went through continually for a year, and then they came home to shit. I can do this. And I have a lot of respect for guys. And then him, just because of his appearance, his size, and so forth, he had to go through 100 times even harder stuff than